Okay, in this video I'm going to try to explain how you put glue a crystal into the ring for a pocket watch. So this pocket watch here, actually the movement, it's a beautiful piece. I've had to replace the hands on it. And when I snap the case open, there's a small ring that goes around the case like that. And when you kind of bend it, this crystal, and it's not a glass crystal, it's a plastic crystal. This crystal was only glued in 4 places, so I'm not sure who did this before. So what you got to do is glue it all around the ring, and then you have to be able to compress the lens here, the crystal, in order to get it into the ring. So I'm going to show you how that's done. So this is a GS tool. It's a beautiful condition. I got it from Uncle Larry's watch supplies and Larry Ford, and it's a beautiful tool. So what I do, the first thing I do is pick the right, I'm not sure what you call these things, but the right crystal jobby-do, so it fits in there and it's able to compress the crystal, but not too much. These things also have plastic rings on them, so that you can take them out, but they have a plastic ring on it, so it protects the crystal from being snapped. So if it's metal on metal, because this is aluminum here, so it's size 18. There's sizes here as well, so it was really smart to just pick the right size and stop farting around. So, but I find it fitting it like this is much better. So that's got a little bit of give on both sides, loose on both sides, yet I can still push in the center with the plunger. So what I do, I'll take that out, and then the plunger I'm going to use is the largest plunger to push down through the middle. I think it's going to be the largest plunger. Yeah, I'm going to use the largest plunger to push in the middle, seeing that's a pocket watch. Now, I'll just put this aside for now. And I have a real squeaky chair. It's not that I weigh a lot. I'm only 213, so 213 of 100% muscle. So when I do this, what I'm going to do, I'd probably zoom in on this or leave it like that. So what you do is you put this in here like that. This is nice because it kind of snaps in. There's probably a ball bearing in there, so that's what it looks like. Yeah. And then you have to you put the crystal in like that, and then you compress it like this. You just make sure it's in the center, right? So you just center the thing. Usually I get a bit closer to it like that. Make sure you get the ring on like that, and then you put a little bit of pressure on like this. And what that does is it widens. There we go. So what that does is it compresses through the center of the crystal, which narrows the circumference or the diameter of the thing, right, all around. So, and then it just fits right into the bezel. That's what you want to call that. I hope that's the name. But I don't want to complete it yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this thing out. I have a piece of paper here. So I'm going to pop that out, because the first thing I'm going to do is glue it. So I'll show you how to glue it. And just do the gluing right now. Okay, what I have here is a GS cement. This is made for gluing on crystals. And when you take the lid off here, there's a fine needle on there. So let me just take the lid off and show you. And there's a fine, you barely see it, there's a fine needle on the end. Yeah, you can see it there. Anyway, the needle you ride along the crystal, along the bezel, like so. I got to get pretty close here. And then the best thing to do is to rotate the bezel as you apply the glue. So squeeze it a little bit, put some glue in, and then rotate the bezel. Once I get close to the area of the bezel where my hand is, I got to make sure this a little bit. This mat is probably a little bit too slippery for doing this. I recommend putting it on a something that's allows the bezel to slide a bit better, because if you don't, you end up basically screwing this up. So I can hear my wife downstairs, and she's going to come up and say something to me any second now. I'm going to be in the middle of this, and I'm going to try not to yell back at her, because if I do that, it kind of ruins the job. So you just continue gluing like that, and put a nice good layer of glue on there, like so. A liberal amount, as they say, and I think I've gone 360 there, so that's glued. Now with this stuff here, you wait, this glue here, you wait 2 minutes, so you allow it to harden just a bit. I'll wipe this off my fingers. The hardest part is putting this back in, so I can hear some noise over there. So you wait about 2 minutes, and then you put the crystal in. Okay, here we have the bezel, and it looks like it's in great condition. It's all glued, so I will put the crystal in first. The crystal's already in the holder there below, so I put the bezel in nice and carefully, and compress the crystal down, and then I snap the bezel onto the edge of the crystal. So as I said before, the crystal, when it's pushed in the center, the diameter decreases, allowing you to get inside the bezel. And there, it's in place now. Then I examine the edges to make sure that it's completely in. I've done this before, where I've actually installed a crystal where I could snap it in with my fingers right in the watch. In this case, I'm going to hold the crystal on all edges to make sure that it's in there nice and firm. When I snap that bezel in, the crystal doesn't come out again. So I check it and examine and make sure that it's good again. Then after I've done that, I've put books on top of crystals and stuff to let them dry out, but this is easier. So you just put a diagonally, right, crisscross rubber bands to make sure that the crystal stays in nice and tight. So I do that one side, and then I crisscross it on the other side, and I do it diagonally to make sure that I can still wind the watch as well. And I haven't, I do it so it's not interfering with the crown, so I can wind the watch. So I do that, just finalize the crystal by having the rubber bands hold it in place. After I've done that, watch is basically, the crystal's in, the watch is good to go. And let that dry for a day, and that's it. That's how you put a crystal on.